Norbert Mao's trip to Seattle, Washington started with a phone call from the then Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among.
When we arrived, we dropped our bags at the hotel and immediately went to the hospital.
Before making their way into his room, Health Minister Dr. Janet Acheng first prepared them mentally for what condition the Speaker was in.
She told us, the man you are going to see is not the Jacob you know. He has lost a lot of weight and he is very ill.
But this warning proved insufficient when they finally met Oulanyah.
He could open his eyes once in a while and see us, and I could see that he recognized us. It was like he was telling himself, this is goodbye. And tears were streaming out of the corner of his eyes.
The following day, the team met Oulanyah's doctor to find out how he was being treated.
They harvest from a patient some blood cells, what they call the T cells, and they take it to the laboratory and modify those cells genetically, equipping them with capabilities of fighting cancer cells.
Oulanyah's weakened body could not take the treatment, and thus his life could not be saved.
But Jacob went even earlier than we had thought. On the day we were supposed to come back on Sunday, we had planned to visit him, but in the night of Saturday, I got a call from the Chief Justice saying, your brother has gone.
There have been reports that Oulanyah might have been poisoned, leading to his death, whereas Mao says that Oulanyah never personally told him he had been poisoned. He is reluctant to dismiss these claims.
Jacob never told me about that, but those to whom he disclosed that he was poisoned have a duty to expound more.
But Mao also holds the view that the injuries sustained by Oulanyah during his university days might have played a part in his later ill health.
Police came to disperse an assembly of students. Jacob was beaten very severely with the butt of a gun, and that beating traumatized his internal organs. He had to undergo emergency surgery in Mulago, and they removed his spleen. Remember, the spleen is one of the organs that really helps to purify the body. It fights infections.
Thus, Mao believes Ugandans should be allowed to discuss the Speaker's passing as long as they have the right facts.
In my opinion, it is not helpful to suppress a discussion. If Jacob ever told his father that he was poisoned, then that should be investigated rather than suppressed.
But what Mao, who also shared a personal friendship with the former speaker, has asked is Oulanyah's death not to be politicized.
The president should draw a line between those who are politicizing that issue and those like the father of Jacob who are saying they were told.
On the Chief Justice Owini Dolo's comments about protests in Seattle, Mao believes that the country should look at the bigger picture of the lack of sufficient health facilities in the country instead of drawing the country along ethnic lines.
Poor staffing of hospitals and health centers, lack of drugs, and a very low budget that is allocated to health, and of course the corruption in the health centers and the lack of equipment even for testing. That is a fact.
With the election of a new speaker and deputy speaker yesterday, government's focus has now turned to returning the late speaker's body back home in preparation for his funeral. Joyce Nakato, NTV Weekend Edition.